They just want the old you. It was easier. But because you're better and you have a duty to your business and your family and your employees, right, you're going to improve and people are not going to like it.
Welcome to the No Limits Podcast, where limits do not exist, where you can create cash flow, equity, and real freedom with the power of real estate.
3, 4. Now, we will begin.
Welcome to the dojo. The dojo.
Want to be great? Prepare for the hate. That's the topic of today's show. This is Todd Toback, and I want to welcome you to the No Limits Real Estate Investing Podcast. If this is the first time you're listening to the show, I want to welcome you, right? If you're trying to do your first deal, or if you're trying to scale your business to 7 or 8 figures, right? And you want a business that's going to throw off cash month after month after month without your personal involvement, this is the place for you. I love real estate, and I love teaching you about real estate. So the next time you do a deal or have a big check or have a success story, let me know. Go to support@nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com and put in the subject line deal. We would love to hear from you. Maybe we'll have you on the podcast if you want. Also, I've got a gift for you. If you are trying to grow your business or you want to know where you're at, go to nextlevelwholesaling.com and I have an assessment there for you. Basically, it's going to ask you some questions and it's going to spit out a score and rate you on the 4 core areas of your wholesaling business. So that's marketing, acquisition, disposition, and accounting, right? How much money you're making. And once you get the score, it's going to tell you where you're weak and where you're strong. And it's going to be abundantly clear on that very next step that you're going to need to take to really start to grow your business. So go to nextlevelwholesaling.com and take the assessment. All right, so here's a little secret to kick off today's episode. Most successful people and those who are growing rapidly are not well liked. And I'm sharing this with you because it's a reality. If you're listening to this podcast, it is probably because you want to grow, or you are growing, or you are a learner, and you want to shed your old self, right? You are going to molt and build a new armor and become the new version of your superhero. And I hate to tell you this, but it's a fact that as you grow, especially if you're growing fast and going in a new direction, you are not going to be able to take everybody with you. As a matter of fact, you're not going to be able to take most people with you. Now, of course, I'm excluding family, but you are going to lose acquaintances, you're going to lose colleagues, and you are going to lose friends. Let me tell you a little story which kicked off actually this episode in my mind. And I was at a real estate meeting recently with a bunch of real estate investors who were there, and I overheard them talking. I wasn't in the conversation about one of my private coaching clients. And they were like, oh, that guy is such a jerk, right? And they didn't know that he was one of my private coaching clients. And I happen to know that this client actually nets multiple millions of dollars, right? He completely dominates his market. Nobody touches him. I mean, he's just like a total rock star, right? So, and I've seen, my private coaching clients, private profit and loss. And so I'm listening to this conversation from afar, and I hear them bad mouthing him, talking about what a jerk he is and how he has such a scarcity mentality. And I'm kind of like just smiling and kind of just looking down at this pad and listening. And so I decide to enter the conversation because I'm just curious, but I do not mention that he's one of my private coaching clients. So I said, let me ask you, I just overheard your conversation. Why don't you like this guy so much? And, there was a lot of like, well, he, has a scarcity mentality, and I've tried to buy deals from him before, and he just bids it out and always wants the highest and best, and he's all about the dollar. And I said, well, is he a jerk? Is he mean? Well, no, but he just has his way of doing things, and, it just seems like he's kind of like, out for himself. And so I really tried to, press this group on specifics because they were all in his market. And at the end of the day, they were just pissed that he was dominating the market because he happens to be actually a very, very nice person, very, very giving person, wonderful businessman, right? Great systems, huge marketing machine, acquisition specialist. And these other people were kind of running around like their chicken with their head cut off. They were pissed off that they were dealing with, this person's assistant. And really, they were using his success as a mirror of their inadequacies, right? That they had not built their businesses in their local market to where he is. And so this is going to lead me to my first reason why most successful people are hated, right? And how you are going to have to deal with this. Because, as I talked to these people, it seemed that they were frustrated that they had not made a hire, right? That their marketing machine was not where his was, that he had the discipline and the fortitude to sell his properties for top dollar, like I had trained him to do, right? And how his business was extremely profitable and continually growing, right? And so as we pressed them, you could tell that their business was kind of not in the same place. And they were really, really jealous of not only his business growth, but his personal growth. And so this goes back to the mirror. And so when you're on Facebook and maybe you're posting, a success, and I don't necessarily think you should be bragging in a, in an arrogant way on Facebook. But if you are sharing something that's amazing and it's obviously that you are successful, you're going to get hate online because people look at that and it's a mirror and saying, man, I should be doing X, or I wish I should have done X. Or if he's doing this well, then it must be illegal, or he has to be cheating people, or he has to be a jerk, which actually is the farthest thing from the truth, right? My private client is one of the nicest people in the world. He's very, very generous, gives a ton of charities. He's not going to sell you properties for $20,000 less than you should, right? If you're one of my clients, right, I'll cut your head off if you do that. But very, 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 very giving person, right? And so this goes back to my second reason why you may not be well liked, especially in your local market. So as you start out, maybe you've been listening to this podcast and you have what I coined the term. Many people have copied. There are many imitators, and I don't mind. The CBE, the cash buyer employee, where you have been selling properties to the same 1, 2, 3 people over a period of years, and you're very comfortable with them, and it feels like you are friends. But actually, this is code for you selling properties at a deep discount. And because you're doing that, you're leaving too much money on the table. You're not treating your business right. You're not treating your employees right because of that, because you could be bumping their compensation slightly or getting them more help or giving them a better opportunity or better profits into the business to take out and some to reinvest, right? So all of these things have really an exponential effect on your business. And so if you've been listening to this podcast and you change that, right, you're not going to be well liked, right? No one is going to want to hear, hey, you have to bid against other buyers. Highest and best is going to get the deal, and this is what it is, right? And they're also mad because you have grown. You have gone from little brother, right, or mentee to, I'm going to tell you what to do and guide you into selling this property to me for a discount, to now a savvy business person. And so you're going to feel some resistance, understand it, and know that some people will come along with you for the ride, right? And participate, and maybe they'll bid higher. And some people, you're going to lose people from your past. You're going to have to understand that. Next is going to be the crab principle, right? So this is very similar to the mirror principle, but as you grow, right, you need to prepare that other people are going to hold you back, right? Don't get too aggressive. Don't go too far. Business isn't everything. You work too much. And by the way, that may or may not be true, but a lot of times, most times, it comes from them wanting to hold you back. I remember I had an ex-girlfriend in college when I was trying to get a job in pharmaceutical sales, and I was also talking about real estate. it was always a competition, right? And she was always trying to hold me back. And obviously that relationship did not work out. By the way, if you have a spouse, that does not apply, by the way. With family and friends, this is a totally separate issue, and you are going to have to love those people regardless, and you should. So I'm talking about specifically with business associates here. All right. So now that I've talked a little bit about the mirror and kind of the crab effect and some of the sometimes your vendors in your local market, why you're going to get hate, be prepared for that. You're going to get it on social media. You're going to get people talking behind your back. You're going to get people saying passive aggressive comments to you, and it's going to have you questioning whether what you're doing is right, right? Are you a jerk, or are you mean? Or are you just out for yourself, right? Be fair, be upfront, right? Be transparent. And I'm telling you, it's much better to be respected and be known as a man who speaks, or a woman who speaks their mind, who's completely honest, than a man or a woman who tells everybody what they want to hear, but really has a different heart underneath. So for me, one of my secrets is I'm an open book. I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. And some people like me and they want to be a part of that. And then some people are repelled by that. And I'm completely fine with that. All right. So how do you get your mindset the right way? Because, part of the problem here, and I wish I could fix this, I wish we could bring all of the old us, right, to the new us, right? But you are slowly going to change your circle, right? People are going to say, hey, you know what? I just don't want to hang out with this person anymore because it doesn't feel good. Or you may not want to hang out with them anymore because all of a sudden the negativity may annoy you, right? Or drag you down. But whatever it is, you need to find a new circle, right? You need to find people who will support you. So here are some ways that you can do that. Okay. Number one is you need local friends who are at your level or higher. All right. You need your friends who are at your level or higher. Now, I'm a believer in some masterminds, not all, right? There are a lot of masterminds in which people go to pump up their own ego. If you have a mastermind in which you really feel challenged and it's not a ego fest and you are really pushing each other, I'm a big fan of those. So number one, I would check out your local chamber of commerce, right? You can meet a lot of other business owners there and network with people and become friends with people outside of your industry who are going to push you. All right. Number two is you need to find a mentor who is playing at a level much higher than you. Okay. I coach occasionally the right people, right? If you're already doing business and your ship is moving and you're making money, and you want to make a lot more and you want to work less, okay, you can reach out to me. If you can go to nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/coaching, but you need a mentor. If not me and you want to find someone locally, you can go on LinkedIn and search for CEOs or mentors or get referrals for people that can help you. Number three is go on a social media fast, okay? Generally, do not participate in conversations in which you are not there for a very, very, very specific purpose. So sometimes if I'm trying to learn something specific, I'll have me or one of my team members ask a question on Facebook, or if there's a thread of which I am trying to learn something, I will ask a specific question or respond to a thread with a very, very specific outcome in mind, and then take that conversation offline with someone. But in general, staying off social media in general is just a big party of a bunch of people who are trying to one up each other or trying to hold each other back, right? That's not always the case, but just the majority of that. So you're much better being really, really intentional about who you're going to spend your time with. So number one, reach out to local groups of people who are going where you are going, right? So the Chamber of Commerce, you also might want to check out Entrepreneurs Organization. That's a local group that I used to be a part of. Phenomenal group. Three is seek out local mentors or virtual mentors who are going to take you to where you want to go. Okay, four, I've talked about this, and that is say your affirmations, right? You got to write down where you want to go, who you want to be, and the feeling that you are going to get when you're going to be there, remember that crab principle, right? You are always going to be held back by the old you, right? The old you is going to try to suck you back, and specifically your old friends. And it's going to suck, right? It's going to suck. Now, I know that you may say, well, Todd, that's cold-hearted. Well, I think that it's cold-hearted for you to hold on to the old you, right? Your family and your future friends and the impact that you're going to make, they need you. The world needs you to be the best version of you. And you are more than welcome to take your old friends with you if they're willing to hop on that train. And by the way, this is not the same as you helping an old friend, right? If an old friend calls you up and they need $1,000 because they are down their luck and they lost everything, and they need $1,000 to pay rent, and you're in the position to do that, go ahead, write the check, right? By all means. But you are only able to do that, right? Because you rose to the next level and you are now financially able, a new person to be able to do that. And now you actually have the ability to go help that person. 4, okay, and this is going to be really, really, really important, is that you don't want to have emotion dictate where you are or where you are going, right? So what you see from other people or the conversation that may elicit this internal response, right? You need to take that out. And so one of the things that we do in our business, along with a weekly meeting, is we do a quarterly meeting, right? In which we focus on what we did the last quarter, what we accomplished, and then what we're going to accomplish next quarter. And so it really, really keeps us focused on where we are going over the next 90 days. So you say, Todd, what does this have to do with the hate, right? Well, it's kind of like a deer in a headlights, right? Because when you are, randomly going through a business or you're randomly trying to improve. And by the way, when you first start out, you can do that, right? You will see some improvement, but you'll stall, right? The comments or the, remark or something from a family member or maybe the friends who are not even intentionally are trying to hold you back. If you are not locked onto a target, right, it's going to pull you down. It's going to absolutely pull you down. But if you say, no, this is where I'm going, and this is where I was last quarter, and this is where I'm going the next 90 days, and this is where I'm going with the next 90 days, and this is where I'm going to the 90 days, you are going to be drawn to this new you. And after 4 quarters, right, 1 full year, you are going to be unrecognizable, right? You are going to be a new person. And so big, big, big improvements actually are a bunch of compounded small steps. So just to review, remember, as you grow, and you're going to grow because you're listening to this podcast, you're not going to be able to take everybody with you. And that's because your reflection or the reflection that you're putting off is a mirror to how other people feel about themselves, right? They're going to be reminded that they didn't take the risk or that they didn't work on themselves or they didn't take the necessary actions. And because of that, they're going to say things that they shouldn't say, right? They're going to say passive-aggressive remarks. They're going to tell you that you can't do something or that you should play it safe or that you're all over the place, right? By the way, you should focus and you shouldn't be all over the place, right? But if this is the time that you're going to change, right, let it be the time that you're going to change and break free. Number 2 is that people just naturally, right, they don't like people getting away from them, right? And not even intentionally, but you're going to start to pull away and they're going to hold you back. 3, locally in your own market, people who used to do business with you, who used to sell properties a certain way, right? You're going to grow out of that. They just want the old you. It was easier, but because you're better and you have a duty to your business and your family and your employees, right? You're going to improve and people are not going to like it. So the solve is, number 1, understand that it's not vindictive. It's just kind of the laws of the universe, right? Remember that. Number 2, remember, just stay focused on your goal, right? So whether you are looking at weekly goals or quarterly goals, laser target so you could filter out the noise, stay off social media, get a mentor, right? A good mentor will always support you and always push you. And if they're way ahead of you, they're always going to be pulling you up, and not down. They're not going to be like that crab. They also, if they're older, they're going to have more wisdom. That's going to be really, really, really important. And then also look for local groups of people. Go to your local chamber of commerce, look at entrepreneurs organization, look at local masterminds of where people really, really, really want you to grow, and make sure it's not a place where people are trying to pump up their ego. So remember, if you have not been over to nextlevelwholesaling.com and you have not taken the assessment, head on over there to nextlevelwholesaling.com, take the assessment. I see your reviews on iTunes, really, really appreciate them. If you or somebody else in your organization, you're feeling uncomfortable, maybe you're feeling the hate, or maybe you have people holding you back, and you know somebody needs to hear this episode, go ahead and copy and paste the direct link from this show, share it with them, leave a review on iTunes, and I would really, really appreciate that. And I will talk to you on the next episode.